I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna start a little bit off T for a second. Every time I hear that intro, I feel like Spin is 16, like on a mic, and I'm afraid I'm gonna unmute myself, and y'all just gonna hear some bars. Salute the chaos for that beat. That joint's fire. But welcome, man. This is Shad Talks Grabs Wrestling Republic, the last Wrestling Republic daily broadcast of 2024. Man, this year has gone by so quick, but I've had a great year in Wrestling Republic, and I've had a great year covering Tuesday, Monday Night Raws, and that's what we're here with because it is also the last episode Monday Night Raw of the USA Network as they go to Netflix, and you know I'm pretty excited to see what comes up, but it is end of an era, so Ben did this yesterday as a topic. I kind of want to do this as the intro to introduce the panel for today because both of these guys are part of the old man clique with me, and I know they got memories of Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. So first and foremost, from the greatest football teams city in the world, Philadelphia, my dog Anthony. Anthony, what is your favorite memory from Monday Night Raw on just network television, USA Network?
I mean, God, there's been so many moments. It really is insane. And when they were showing some of those retrospectively last night, you think of all the carnage that Austin caused during the Attitude Era. You think of DX invading WCW. The simulcast when Shane bought WCW. Ric Flair's retirement, and there's so many moments. I just to narrow it down to just one. I mean, you think of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels burying the hatchet 10 years ago, almost 11 now at this point. It's just wild of how many moments that have taken place just on Monday Night Raw and how it really changed the business. It really was a true end of the era last night, and it felt it. It felt like just this is different. What's going forward is uncharted territory, and I feel like the people that were there for the original start of Monday Night Raw, which was a couple years prior to me starting to watch, this has got to be what they felt back then when they were like, oh, every Monday night they're gonna go live, or taped in that instance. But yeah, there's so many moments.
Yeah, no. When he had the question for us yesterday, man, it was one that I had to really like think. And yeah, that video package yesterday was phenomenal, man. Just all the moments, even just brought back so much like
Uh,
memories as a kid,
and
man.
and I do have to say, I do think they kept it to strictly the 25 plus years they were
Yeah,
on USA because obviously the simulcast. I know Vince was in it, but still, they didn't show that. That technically took place on TNN, which would become Spike.
Spike.
That they didn't. That clip was not there, and that's one of the most iconic moments in Raw history.
Yeah, for sure. Man, it is an end of an era, and man, we this is it's not an end of an era for this because we will be always doing these Monday Night Raw reviews, and y'all know, man, I talked about them briefly before with the dope introduction beat, but from across the pond, chaos. You got a couple more hours to the year is done too, man. But what's your favorite network television Raw moment?
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I mean, just to just started off. I mean, yeah, this year has been very bittersweet for me. Obviously, I'm grateful to be here for the last episode of 2024 on the daily. And obviously next week we're gonna be obviously the latest episode of Take It to the Table dropped earlier today, so be sure to check that out after the daily. And of course next week we got Take It to the Game starting on Twitch as well. So it's gonna be bittersweet. But obviously the sad part is that the WWE Network is going to be closing its servers at midnight tonight, and it's going to be absolutely going to be painful for me. And we got to move everything partially to Netflix. So, but yeah, it's exciting times. As Anthony said, it's uncharted territory. I think there's going to be even just as memorable moments on Netflix as they were on USA Network. There's so many to count, but yeah, off the top of my head, it will be. I'm going to choose something selfishly because I was actually there when it happened, and it would have to be when Dolph Ziggler cashed in on one Alberto Del Rio to become the world heavyweight champion. Raw after Mania was at, and the pop was that was my first Raw in person, and it was absolutely memorable. The pop, it was memorable, everything about that night was great. But that for me personally is one of the more iconic moments. I was surprised that wasn't on, or maybe it wasn't on USA Network at the time. I'm not really sure, but either way, in terms of a Raw moment, it would have to be that. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen on Netflix. And yeah, next week is going to be jam packed. But yeah, we're here to talk about obviously tonight. Oh, yesterday's night. And
I'm
Yes,
guessing they
sir.
wouldn't have included that clip because of Del Rio, would be my
yeah,
guess.
true.
Very, very good point. Very good point. But yeah, man, we are definitely in for a treat for today's episode because last night's episode was definitely one with a lot of crazy stuff, and y'all need to stay to the show because the final topic is what y'all want to hear. So we're not giving it
Mhm.
to you just out the gate, but we do got to talk about something that is very important, and it is the inaugural Intercontinental Championship on the women's side that will be crowned in 2 weeks. We had two semifinal matches last night. We had Dakota Kai versus Zoe Stark, which I thought was a very well wrestled match between both women. It went to the brinks. Dakota Kai comes out with the victory. On the second match, Io Sky filling in for Kairi Sane, her damage control faction mate, going against Lyra Valkyria in one of the better, if not best, women's TV matches I've seen this year. And I feel like the last great one I saw was honestly between these two women on a Raw earlier this year. Their chemistry is phenomenal, but such a good finish. And Lyra coming out victorious. We got Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai in 2 weeks on Monday Night Raw. It won't be on next week's episode, but it will be the following week. And I'm interested, man. I think these are two women that have been fighting tooth and nail to try to get themselves up on the spot. Dakota being there for quite a while, but Lyra being a big time call up, a former NXT Women's Champion. I'm gonna open the panel to y'all. Thoughts on the matches per se, but thoughts on the finals. Do you guys think that it's a place of intrigue with the matchups? Do you think the right people won? I'll kick it off to you first, Anthony.
I gotta be honest, I've never really gotten the hype behind Dakota. I just don't get it. I don't see somebody that you can really truly build behind. I nothing against her personally. I don't get it. When I was originally asked, I don't know if it was on a panel or somebody asked me privately in a chat who I thought the people that should be the new mid card women's champions, the U.S. and the IC. I said Chelsea and Lyra. One of those has happened. The second one is potentially. As far as the Dakota match with Zoe, it was decent. I don't think it was great. The finish looked botched. Obviously, in the replay, they reshowed the camera angle, so it made it look like her knee hit her in the face, even though from the original camera angle, it looked like it hit her in the ribs. But I loved the Lyra Io match. I thought that was a great women's match. I loved the finish because it was unique. It was different. My money would be on Lyra. That's who I would give the belt to. In all seriousness, is because you went a heel route with Chelsea as the mid card champion in for the U.S. title. I would go Lyra with the IC title, and I think that opens the door for somebody to come in, which is a big supporter of Lyra's, and that's Becky Lynch, because we need an opening for the man to come back, and for the man to come back to try to take the title that did not exist when she left a few months ago, and to wrestle Lyra and possibly put Lyra over. I think that's a great move for everybody involved.
Yeah, I love that idea, and honestly, man, I'm sharing the same sentiment on that too. I'm one person that is hated on the Wrestling Republic reels from our fans because
Mm,
I said I don't think Dakota Kai is I won't want to say worthy, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense having her as champion for a lot of the points that you said. I think she's still someone that's trying to garner the respect from the fans on a weekly basis. A lot of these people don't know a lot of her work in black and gold.
yeah, I don't get standout from her. I get good hand, and to me, to truly get pushed in this business to be in that top spot, you need to stand out. Right now, she does not stand out to me. And that's, doesn't mean it could it could certainly change, but as of right now, I would not get behind her with a title reign.
Yeah, for sure. We got some comments and we got Rosario, salute to the broski. Lyra is part of the future top of the division. Dakota is underrated, and I understand why you're not getting behind her because they fumbled her many times. Always did like her. It could be that. I do think she was a little bit better in NXT initially before she got hurt and got let go and whatnot. I think the damage control stuff is just really, I don't know. It's muddy on her character right now. Lyra definitely is a champion not long ago, so I'm curious. And then, I'm sorry, Chaos.
I saw that, and I was.
I'm
the final boss for a reason, bro. I'm the final boss for a reason.
Wait a minute. Show the follow up to that he posted.
He's so serious, Batman. Yo, salute to the bro MDB, man. I'm glad you in the comments as always, my guy. Oh man, but yo, so your point to Becky coming in and that being the avenue of return. She put her over in NXT.
Yeah.
Putting her over on the main roster is interesting. I want to ask you a little bit about that, Chaos. I mean, thoughts on just everything with the semis last night. But do you think Lyra will win? And what's your interest level of Becky returning and feuding with a Miss Lyra Valkyria for the IC belt?
I thought the match was all right. No, I'm joking. I was trying to put the worst Batman impression I could think of. Anyway, the matches were fine, especially Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria. To be fair, I actually forgot about their initial match that they had previously, but their chemistry it picked up a lot, especially that move that Io Sky did on the top rope. It was like a sunset flip type of thing. I can't remember what the right word for it is, but yeah, I felt like after that's when the crowd really picked up and was more invested in the match. And to be fair, I thought that was a bit of a twist, letting Lyra Valkyria win that match in such a innovative way. Because I thought the road was paid for them to do just a damage control final. They were hinting at it before, and then for the potential to happen, and then it didn't. But yeah, I'm fine with the outcome. I think this is definitely something that warrants, or Lyra Valkyria's inclusion in the main roster, because I thought that she got brought up to the main roster a bit too quickly, in my opinion. But yeah, if they really want to put the momentum back in her wings, then yeah, I think she should be the final, possibly the one to win the whole thing. Because I agree, I'm not really sure what the hype is with Dakota Kai. I know she's very likable, she on her podcast and on TikTok and whatnot. But yeah, she doesn't scream champion material as such. Maybe tag team, but someone to be the inaugural champion of a mid-card title is I don't know, it's a bit crazy. But the setup for Becky Lynch to come back, I think that's a very good way. And if anything, that would make her be almost like turning into her on and off nemesis Charlotte Flair, in terms of she only shows up when there's a championship involved. She last time we saw her was as champion. She went to obviously try to regain it. She lost. She hasn't come back, and then now the only reason she's coming back because it's for a championship. So that could be like a long-term thing, and then they might include that in some storyline down the line. But yeah, I'm here for it. I think this, instead of her going for the main title, this something mid-card and bring up the prestige of that title will be something that I'll be interested in. Just don't win it in 6 seconds like you did against Bianca Belair. Just don't do that.
No.
But yeah, other than that, the matches were fine. I agree. Io versus Lyra was the better one. Yeah, I'm happy for all of it. So I'm very disappointed. I'm actually disappointed that it's not actually on next week's episode, because I feel like that would be the perfect way to get maximum eyes on that mid-card title. I know it's already stacked, But as far as I'm aware, they don't really have that such of a big time limit as they would on TV, so they could probably squeeze it in. But I guess they want to make sure it gets enough time on the show. And who knows what's going to happen next week. So I kind of see the reasons why they're doing it, but I kind of wish it should have been. I kind of wish it was on next week's episode, but it is what it is.
I agree. I agree. I think it's because it's stacked. Obviously, we don't know what's on this thing for the most part, and it gives them another week to hype this thing up for the week that's not going to have the possibility of this person coming back and that person coming back and this person debuting. It gives you another reason to. I mean, we're going to watch it regardless, but you know they're going to hype this thing so that you have at least a match to hype for the following week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just off of the potential. What I know is announced. I feel like obviously Solo and Roman is going to be given a good amount of time. Punk and Seth is going to be given a good amount of time. Liv and Rhea is a stipulation match that's going to be given a lot of time. There's also the possibility of what they've been showing with the promo packages of a Pentagon Jr. debuting as well. That's 4 things that garners a lot of time on an episode, you know?
By the way, tell us it's Penta without actually saying the words. Because that's exactly what they did and they continue to do.
It kind of looked like the dragon from Samurai Jack, but but yeah, man.
Hey, listen, nothing beats the image that I sent in the group chat that somebody took the 0 with the line through and said it was airline in the back.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, we got MDB also saying Lara screams championship material. She's awesome. She does need knee pads, though. Well, her moveset, I definitely feel that. She's a lot of strikes.
Listen, the champions pay. I think she can afford those when she gets them.
For sure. All right, let's get to the next one. And that is I'm praying to God, the last match of a feud that I am just completely tired of. Chad Gable versus Otis. Long match. No USA through WWE a bone. Didn't throw no commercial breaks. They let these guys rock for a minute. Chad Gable gets the win, taps out Otis. I'm going to say one thing before I get your words on it, Anthony. What the hell are we doing with the American Made and Chad Gable? What the hell are we doing, bro? This dude is so damn good, and he was built so much into the Gunther feud. The Creed brothers are so good. Ivy now looks so good. Let's get them out of this rut. Y'all messed it up by putting them against the Wyatts. You're having them re-feud with Alpha Academy 1,000 times. Let's stop this, man. Let's get this guy in position. Let's get these guys and girl in position because Chaos been saying it for a while before they joined Crew. That's a money team right there. They look amazing as a group. But, I mean, Anthony, I know you got some words to say about it too. You might have a shovel on deck too. So
yeah, I kind of do. It's kind of a shame because I've always liked Chad Gable, and he always reminded me of very similar to Kurt Angle, and I think a lot of fans felt that way. But I think they made a mistake leaning too much into it because now it looks like cosplay Kurt Angle. The gear, the gimmick, it's Team Angle. It's too much, and now he's not standing out on his own. It looks like he's just playing Kurt Angle, but he's not Kurt Angle. So I think that's part of the problem. Otis, probably nicest guy in the world. There is no money left in this guy. Nobody cares about him or Tozawa. No one cares. You kind of wasted a 30-minute commercial-free Raw, or the opening. And this match was too long. You and I got so much crap in the group chat, Shad, because we're like, this match is going too long. It was not, I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but nobody wanted to see this commercial free. I don't think anybody was sitting there going, I really want the payoff of Gable and Otis. I don't think anybody cared at this point. This was like somebody lost a bet and was like, crap. All right, we'll throw it out there. It's the last Raw on USA. I think I said to Kobe, I said, did they purposely stick this match out there hoping that the crowd would chant USA because it's the last Raw on USA Network? Is that what you're doing here? Because that's kind of what I felt. I don't think American Made is a great name for a team, to be honest. Every time I hear that, I think of Hogan's WCW theme because that was the name of the song. So every time I hear that, or was it Buff Bagwell, the American males. That's what I think of when I hear that name when it comes to this. I mean, it was. I'm hoping it's the end. I was on here and I buried the Adam Cole MJF thing going. Again, that was a feud that needed to end. That ain't going to end. Damian Priest and Finn Balor ain't going to end. I'm hoping at least one of these three ends, and it's this one because I don't care anymore. I don't care about seeing Otis wrestle anymore. I just don't. He's a goofy character, probably a very nice guy, but realistically, I won't. There's too much talent that could be out there that I have more interest in than guys that I know they're never going to get behind. They're never going to get behind him. They're never going to get behind Tozawa. They're never getting behind any of that group. Focus on Gable and the Creeds and Isla, and you could do stuff with them. But you got it. They need to have their own character. It cannot be Team Angle light. It needs to be its own thing. And I don't know how many times I need to say that. Like, realistically, it's just, we're done with the reprint.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel you on that. I do. I think that's a good point. I do. Even with the theme song, they like got the implements of the "You Suck" like in the instrumental. Like,
it's too much. You're leaning into it now. Now it's cosplaying. In all seriousness.
Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting to see. We got some comments. Rosario saying, "I agree with you. Cosplaying Team Angle ain't it. Make them different, aggressive, pure wrestling group, not with the suits and ties type." Ish. MDB say, "We do care about Maxine though." That is true. That is true. I liked her better with the male models, I think, though. I don't know. I don't know, man. Otis don't do nothing for me no more, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, he's a good wrestler, but like, he's such a like dork. Like, I want to be mean.
I think what shot him in the foot regarding the Otis thing, I think they just took too long pulling the trigger with him turning on Gable, because they were really teasing them for the longest. And since that's happened, yeah, there's been. I think it was a little too late. Just quickly, wanted to say that America Made. I think the best thing for them to do is to go to SmackDown. I feel like that is. I think that's the best way to do it. Because obviously the best place will be Netflix, but for in terms of eyes. But yeah, I think they really need to rebrand in terms of change the name, go to SmackDown, and then in terms of theme music, I agree they should have Dipset's theme as their.
Yeah, let's go. Going to SmackDown. They got some great tag teams.
100%. That is the best.
Yeah, so
Otis has been going downhill since he lost his briefcase in a court case to the Miz because JBL was paid off as the judge. Like, it's been going downhill for a long time before he refused to turn.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. But but let's pivot away from WWE for a quick second and let us talk about Progress Wrestling, more specifically Demand Progress Plus. If you use the code Watch Progress to get 50% off your first month on all Demand Progress Plus stuff. This is also the home of Defy and many other wrestling promotions. Great deal, man. They got a lot of great pay-per-views and extensive libraries of people that you are big fans of from the past. Guys like Gunther, guys like Will Ospreay. I highly recommend it. They keep doing great stuff, and they give you great wrestling, man. And that's what we all about in 2024 is seeing great wrestling. Now let's get back to the show, because I want to talk about another feud that, for the love of God, in 2025, can we get it to end? This is the Judgment Day, and this is Damian Priest. But more specifically, this was a trios match for honor. For honor, this is Punishment. Martinez reunites with the what do they call the War Raiders? Well, they're the War Machine. That's what they were in ROH.
War Machine was their name in Ring of Honor, yes.
Yeah. So Priest and the Viking Raiders, or War Raiders, whatever the hell they're called now, versus Judgment Day. Chaos, man. This is only right for you to break down, because we have talked about the Judgment Day for a better half of this entire year. Where are your levels of interest going into 2025 with this? Because I don't know if this is done yet.
as he says with bated breath. Yeah, no, this match this was definitely one of the weakest matches. I agree. I do not care about this feud, especially with Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. Like 1 minute it says he's done with them, next minute he does, and then Finn just has a hard on for Damian Priest and just like can't get over it. That it's definitely wearing. It's one thing for quite some time. But yeah, one big W I must say for Judgment Day was their theme music. I saw Ben Allison's take on this thing, and this guy is speaking out of his ass crack. This was a welcoming change. I like it. Finn was loving it. He was doing his little mini yeet thing, coming in and whatnot. And I think it's a welcoming change. I think the reason they kind of did it was it kind of sounded a bit too similar to Damian Priest's theme, in terms of definitely tone and certain, just tempo. I think that's why they wanted to separate it. And yeah, this is more welcoming than AJ Styles' new theme. I'll give you that. But yeah, I loved it. Definitely fits them. I just feel like it's a bit little too late because I think we're just on the cusp of seeing the demise of Judgment Day. If I had to choose between the Judgment Day and the Bloodline, I think the Judgment Day is going to be the first one to fall, and I think it's definitely long overdue. That they're teasing this little, backstage unrestness of that team. But yeah, I feel like that's definitely going to be one of the biggest talking topics of 2025. But yeah, I'm here for it. The match was whatever. Again, Damian is being a bully. He chooses the weakest person in Judgment Day and takes him to school and beats him, which is Dominic, with a modified black hole slam, which I was fine with. But yeah, it's run its course. I'm happy for the War Raiders to obviously show that they're still being treated respectfully now that they are the champions, because them tag team championships need to be built up. Judgment Day had their time with them. It's time to put some prestige behind that title, those titles now. So yeah, all in all, it was fine. I could have done without it. But yeah, I think the biggest talk is obviously their theme music, but I just feel like it was just a little too late. I think they could have done this back when they were officially Street Trash 2 or whatever it was, like when it was the new Judgment Day. I think they should have done it. But it is what it is.
Oh, not Street Trash, man.
There's a t-shirt that counts.
I ain't got nothing for it, man. I'm just gonna let it play out. I'd like to see Damian Priest hit the transfer portal and go to SmackDown and try to, do something there too. Because if I feel like that's the only way to get him away from Judgment Day. But I digress. We have Rhea Ripley apparently in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
I can't read Rhea Ripley's comments because Rhea Ripley is definitely
quite angry.
Been hitting the bottle and cursing like a sailor. But thank you for watching the show, Rhea. We appreciate you. We got another person that is not as famous as Rhea Ripley. So saying Judgment Day have achieved full jobber status. Bad look, bad matches, bad theme. The Jobber Day have arrived. Man.
They are not exactly the Dark Order. Yeah, they're getting there.
Remember them? Oh gosh, yeah.
we have Moxley's group just beat them up because they had to pull somebody out.
If I had to choose, I'd rather see Judgment Day than the freaking Death Riders. How about that?
Yes,
I'd rather see them.
Yeah,
they are way better, more tolerable.
They have a direction, and they have chicken tendies.
Exactly. Say you stay there with your Death Riders. Or Death Hopelessness, whatever.
Speaking of which, Rhea Ripley's an AEW fan. This is breaking news. That's cool. I'll watch him on AEW, the best show in wrestling. My goodness, things are getting crazy, bro. Rhea Ripley to join Buddy Matthews, I don't know. But what I do know is we got to talk about the main event, which wasn't a main event, but it was the main event segment. Guys, brace yourselves. Mm-hmm. We are in for the biggest treat of all treats in 2025. Exactly what we wanted is in the house. Mm-hmm. Face off last night between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I'm not going to lie to you. When they announced it, I didn't expect a whole lot. But as the final match happened and I saw like 15 minutes left on the clock, I was like, wow, we got a lot of time left on this show right now. And those guys, it's like they had a verbal Iron Man match last night for the words that have been said, man. Rollins talking about, oh my God, Seth telling him that, you became a cancer. You left the company and joined your buddy to do a podcast to kind of, throw dirt on the company. And then you joined a competitor for a boatload of money. Look where that left you. Punk answering back, telling him that he's kind of a kiss ass to Vince. He's a corporate shill, this, that, and the third, backstabber, not having his back. It felt so damn personal. And it's one of those points where you're just like, yo, are they being for real, or is this like part of the script? I have no idea. But that's where professional wrestling, in my mind, is the best, where you don't know where the blurred lines are. Man, we might have to go a little overtime on this topic, because this was one of them ones, and this is the last episode of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. All right. Chaos, I'm going to kick it off to you first, buddy. What are your thoughts on everything that happened last night with the closing segment between Punk and Rollins?
Boy. For my battle rap fans, there was some Don DeMarcos, bang bang, ish like that, thrown all over this damn promo. It was flipping amazing. Was it promo of the year? I would have to look at previous promos that's been going around. That's what Ben Allison was calling this. Was it a promo of the year? It's up there. There was some dirty words put in there, without using dirty words. But yeah, it was all saying Seth Rollins coming in saying, you took a big load of cash to go to the competition. How did that work out for you? I kind of wish that Punk kind of like retaliated and said like, well, I choked someone a little and now I'm here, so it kind of worked out, I guess. Something like that. I don't know. It would have been awesome, but yeah, it was great. Definitely makes it worthy of being the main event for next week. I personally thought it would have, before they announced it, I thought it was going to be Roman Reigns versus Solo, because for Roman, it's either the main event or not. But I feel like that's probably going to be the opening, and they're going to throw everything to the wall for the opening for the opening segment. So yeah, it was great from both sides. I agree. This is to the point where you don't know what was real, or did they go through lines or anything, because when Seth dropped that AEW line, you could see in CM Punk's face, he was just like, he kind of had that same look when Hangman Page dropped that workers' rights line to him. He had that look in his eye. It was like, are you serious? But yeah, it looks like they're not ashamed. I'm talking about Vince. Obviously, he said it in CM Punk's promo, and they were showing it in when they were recapping all of Raw all those years. So they're not ashamed of talking about Vince right now. But yeah, it was amazing, man. Great way to cap off the year. I'm excited to see what they're gonna bring. And yeah, Punk is very good at blurring the lines. He did it with Drew McIntyre. He's doing it with Seth Rollins. Don't know if they're gonna go to business for themselves or whatnot, but this is what we're here for. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. Definitely one of the more memorable moments of 2024, and I can't wait for next week. So no bad things to say about it.
So you want to know what line I thought was like, yo, I would not be mad if Punk threw hands at him, is when obviously Punk delivered the line saying, "Where's the man? Did she decide to go take her ball and go home?" To referencing Austin and whatnot, and Seth coming back. My wife is at home raising a kid. That's something that you don't know about. Yeah. Holy, my God! Talk about, that is crazy.
Told you, man. Don DeMarco's everywhere, man. It was disgusting. It was bad.
Bro, Seth was demonic last night with the promos, dude. Like he got. I will say this. That was like therapy where you just get everything off your chest, man. Right. He got everything off his chest in regards to Punk. Oh man, Anthony, I'm gonna open the floor to you, and then we gotta all talk about it amongst each other too. After that, man, what are your thoughts on the promo exchange between the two last night?
If you would have told any of us when CM Punk returned to wrestling on Rampage that a couple years later, he will be in the closing segment of the very last Raw on USA Network. No one would have believed it. That, what they did last night, that's how you end one era and create intrigue and interest for the next. WWE, and this is not to kiss their butt in this situation, but in general, they have always been able to capitalize on real life drama and heat and turn it into a storyline. They knew Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart hated one another. What do? You put them out there in Bret's last match and you create a moment. You look at Edge, Matt Hardy, and Lita. A real life situation. Lita cheats on Matt with Edge. WWE fires Matt Hardy. The crowd cheers for Matt Hardy. They bring them back and they do business. And Matt takes the loss. The man, Becky Lynch, we knew, former best friends with Charlotte Flair. There was reports of backstage issues. What do? They stick them out there against one another at Survivor Series. And we all sit back and go, when are they going to throw live rounds? This is another one of those situations. They have turned this into a successful angle. We were supposed to see it at WrestleMania 40 prior to the CM Punk's injury. And Seth wasn't exactly in the best shape either. So the match probably would not have held up either way. But they are taking the real life disgust that Seth has or is perceived to have, and they're milking it. They're blurring the lines. That's what you do. That's storytelling. That's how you make money. This is what AEW could not capitalize on. WWE has now done this twice with CM Punk. They have done it with him and Drew. They've done it with him and Seth. They've gone to the well, that you're a locker room cancer. Now, we all know behind the scenes, Seth's not going to acknowledge this, but CM Punk has been a quote-unquote model citizen that's helping NXT talent, helping out backstage. No known issues. So we know technically the cancer thing doesn't really hold, but there's this perception, and there is the audience that believes AEW and will believe, oh no, he is still a cancer. Well, he can get behind Seth. Now, even if Seth turns heel like Drew did, it's a different type of heel because it's the type of heel that you could go, I understand where he's coming from. This promo was perfect because they were throwing live rounds. You know, Punk brings up, oh, you're talking about taking my ball and going home. Really, would you say that to Stone Cold Steve Austin? Now, Seth did answer that and came back with a great reply of going, Austin has gone on record saying it was a mistake. He shouldn't have done it that way. He threw the shot with Becky. Seth fired right back. I jokingly said in the group chat, I said it was at that point Larry was probably at home flipping out, because Punk has said Larry's his kid. Seth was confident to be able to say that because, there wasn't an Ace Steel around to allegedly launch a chair or allegedly bite Seth. So it was safe for him to say it unless Punk took a swing. No, but it was smart. It was storytelling. I say this multiple times. Paul Heyman said this in an interview, and they said, how do you write compelling TV? He says, you need to answer 3 questions. If you answer 3 questions, you are guaranteed to have a money-making feud. Who are these people? Why are they fighting? And why should I care? They've answered that. These are 2 people. Seth is defending his territory, what he deems as his home, against somebody that he views as a cancer. And Punk, from his perspective, is going, listen, I paved the way for people like you. You should be giving me respect. And you can understand both sides, which is what makes it intriguing. And you don't know who's going to win this thing because you could make a justifiable argument for either one in this scenario. But it ended with fire. And, taking the shots. I did notice the one thing that Seth looked really annoyed when Punk said, I loved this place. I just didn't love the guy who ran it, but he did love you. And Seth mouthed something like, watch it. Now, granted, I believe behind the scenes, they're professional about this. I don't think this is the Hangman situation where Hangman went into business for himself. I do think Hunter would have ensured that there was not going to be anything said out there that was going to end up in a fist fight backstage. I do think, but again, it happened with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They would talk about it, and then Shawn would go out there and drop his sunny days comment, and the feud would start all over again behind the scenes. So I don't know, but that's the great part. Blurring lines is how you create interest, and that's the best stuff. When you, as an audience member, no matter how long you've been watching this, where you go, I don't know if that was supposed to go that way. That's the best stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I love that. And that should 100% be the main event. Because I'll be perfectly honest, I have no interest in Roman Reigns against Solo. So that can open the show. I don't really care. But Seth Punk has to close it. And it's not going to be the end of it. I still think they're going to face each other at WrestleMania. Or one last, because Becky was mentioned, could we see Seth and Becky against Punk and AJ?
A Rumble, yeah. It could be out of Rumble.
At Mania. I think if AJ's coming back, it's probably Mania.
Now, if they could maneuver that would be pretty remarkable.
I mean, could you picture if AJ's the one that takes Becky out of the Rumble? Like, they both go out. She's like, if Seth and Becky start it with Punk, and she comes out going, "Oh, you're starting with my husband," like, and she just they could do that.
It's gonna be so interesting to see if. So I do think next week is gonna be a one.
It's explosive. It can't miss.
It can't miss, but it's gonna be a point where I do think it could go no contest, and they do continue this.
I don't expect a clean finish. I 100% do not expect a clean finish.
And man, I think a point you made was about just Punk's character. I think WWE has hit like a grand slam on booking CM Punk since he's returned and playing off of the fact that he's got bad blood with a lot of people backstage and he's not leaving on the he didn't leave on the best terms with people. That is the marquee key way to bring him back.
They got two more to pull. If AJ Styles ever returns, there's history with them. And we also know Kevin Owens is another one. Yeah, because his best friends were Punk's most vocal critics.
Enemies.
Yeah.
And he himself had issues with them in Ring of Honor.
Then there's obviously him and Roman will be something of intrigue as well too. So there's a bunch of stuff that is still in a pipeline for Punk that's going to be good.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the beauty of it. Like, usually, like I said it before, usually by now, we would be already knowing who's most likely to win the Rumble, what's going to be the main event for Mania. We've been doing that for so long. Right now, this year, this is the most unpredictable year. As a wrestling fan myself, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm happy it's that way. I'm glad.
That's the best stuff. That's why I love the Rumble. Because as much as you think you have no idea when that buzzard hits who's coming out.
No.
And the past couple of years, we haven't been 100% certain who the hell was going to win the damn thing. Yeah. You look at it last year, we're like, okay, Cody could win it again. Maybe they'll give it to Punk. I thought those were the two front runners because we all expected those to be the two title match main events. So
this year, I have no idea who's going to be the final four. I have no idea.
I don't even, to be honest with you, dude. Like you said, that is the beauty of it. Their main event scene is definitely, at this time, like we got Cena returning next week too. I forgot to mention that. Like he's gonna start his tour next week. We got, and that's a guy who we went. Like you got the possibility of Cena chasing the record of Flair, right? You got Roman chasing back to get the belt that he lost. You got, Kevin Owens on a madman streak. You got a guy like Sami Zayn who's looking for first time to become a world champion. You got Jey Uso. You got Drew McIntyre who wants gold again. You know, like
Cody.
so many people, man.
You got Logan Paul throwing himself back in the mix because obviously they made a big deal about him sticking around. You have people coming in like Penta, which I don't believe that's a spoiler. I think we all know it's Penta. Becky's coming back into play. Charlotte's around the corner.
And of course, the final boss.
The final boss is floating. The final boss is floating there. There's so much potential. Orton's bound to pop up at soon.
Any point.
You know, you got their partnership with TNA, so the Rumble could throw in a couple other people too. You know, whether it's the reigning TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth, if he comes in for it. Jordan Grace.
Big.
Jordan Grace is expected. Yeah. There's WWE's future going into the Netflix era and going into WrestleMania 41, The Road, is the most compelling you could possibly get.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. AEW is punching the air right now. I'll say it right now.
The world's ending.
They're doing good. They're doing good for their own means, man. I don't.
Please.
No, you know what? That's a topic for another time because I do think it's. I don't think it's fair. I won't say it's not fair. You can make criticisms and comparisons all the time, but WWE, I'm going to speak about them in their own breath at the end of the day, like because they are like they're the NBA, they're the NFL.
They know what they're doing.
Wrestling. Right, they're the face of it, so they're definitely bringing in a lot of the main. And you add the thing is this, and I'll end on this before we get off. Obviously, Netflix coming in. That's like I ain't gotta tell nobody. It's Netflix. Everybody has Netflix at their house, right? It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
You have it.
Yeah, it's the biggest streaming entity in the globe, and they're on Netflix now. There's going to be people itching to try to get to the main roster and work their ass off, like people on NXT, people that are on the free agency, all of that, because that's a market that can benefit you outside of wrestling. You ain't telling me someone catches a look at a Rhea Ripley or a Liv Morgan or a Damian Priest, like people that just look like stars that doesn't possibly get them crossover appeal in the Hollywood. And other ventures and whatnot.
You think about how many directors and stuff like that will check out Netflix and they'll see somebody. A perfect example, you see a Jade. If you're Marvel, you're looking at that going, that might be our Storm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, anything's possible with any of this stuff.
Even Tony D'Angelo got a damn TV role.
Yes!
On a CBS show.
With big name people.
Yeah. And that's a guy on NXT.
Yes.
So, I mean, look, wrestlers are actors and actresses at the end of the day. So this is definitely going to be something of intrigue, man. But damn, man, that was a way to end the show, man. Great episode of Raw last night. Great episode of The Daily. I want to tell all of the people in the comments, thank y'all for watching. Happy New Year. Be safe tonight. Don't drink and drive. Take a Uber, take a taxi, whatever you need to do if you are out and about partying. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah. And then we'll be back tomorrow, same time. I think we are also doing off the air tonight, too. So catch that tonight as well. But we'll be back tomorrow on the new year with The Daily, and we'll be talking about the news of pro wrestling into 2025. In the words of Jay Uso, deuces, we out of here.